Hello, everyone. So I just got back from Emerson Middle School, and I had an opportunity to interview the chapter chair, UTLA rep, as well as several of the teachers about the settlement today.
Most all the teachers are ecstatic that the strike was settled, mostly because we don't like being out of our classrooms, and it's been a real hardship on all of us to be out picketing so much and holding the line, making sure that we have enough energy. We're showing up for all the important protests and picket lines to really force the district into understanding that we're serious and we're not going to back down.
Because there was a lot that they went over at the meeting that I didn't really understand when I was reading the tentative agreement, what they were talking about. So, questions?
Well, what percentage, by what percentage does this have to have a yes vote for it to be passed?
Right.
I believe it's a simple majority.
51?
Yeah. Sticking point is 1.5, that is now cleanly gone, which means they cannot put that 40th person in your classroom. Okay. It is a firm cap.
What
which
about
is
history and
At
science?
39.
Well, you know what? It's across the board. I don't know why that's very confusing on here. She said it numerous times that it's across the board. It's not just, I think it's just the first year maybe.
It's across the board in 2022, but the initial one is English and math.
The average is like for the FABAO was 30, is 24 with a cap at 27. She actually said that this is like the beginning of the class size reduction and that the state funding that should be coming down, because there is also this school funding that is written in here that is actually going to the state to get that 2020 funding, which should help lower our class sizes further.
Is there something written that says any new state funding is going to go to reduce class sizes? Or are they just going to use it for whatever they want to use it again?
They can't do that in a district contract, say that the state is going to set aside funding. The amount of distrust is still there. It's not like we were asking for 20-1 across the board. We were asking for a cap, and we got the cap.
I don't think they made much movement on class size, although that was, they made some movement on it. But unfortunately, at a small school like Emerson, we're not going to experience a lot of movement or increase in staff because we just don't have enough kids to cause the tipping point. That's also the situation with the counselors right now, is that we have over 500, but we don't have enough to rank a second counselor, even with the new contract. We do look at improvements such as having a full-time nurse and also full-time teacher librarian on campus. All secondary.
Because most schools right now have a part-time librarian. So they weren't giving everyone a new librarian. They were giving you the other half of the librarian that now you will actually use to hire a librarian.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited about the cost of living increase that will finally make a dent in the fact that we live in Los Angeles and it's hard to keep up here without a second job.
The community school initiative is actually really important for schools that are really at risk. Those of you who have been in Emerson for a while, we would have qualified for this a few years ago when we had co-locations coming and we were using all of our extra time to go to meetings about co-locations and about the charter infringement. There are campuses that are still fighting that, and this allows UTLA to designate 30 community schools that are not available for co-location or for reconstitution. But then they also have increased local control to be able to make decisions about how they want their school to work. And this, I was surprised to see this in this agreement. They have a privatization charter cap, and it says the Board of Education, and this is supposed to happen tomorrow, will vote on a resolution calling on the state to establish a charter school cap. And I'm sitting here going, we have a pro-charter board. They're just going to vote down this motion. What's the point? Erica said that Vladovic and Gomez are the two people bringing this motion forward. Those are the two wildcard votes. We know where Garcia and Melvoin are. We know where our guys are. But them bringing the motion means it should carry 4-2.
To get going, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'll do a first run elections, and then people who want to do more discussion.
Sorry, it's okay.
Do you think that 3 hours was enough for you guys to familiarize yourself with the agreement before you had to vote on it?
No, but I understand they want to get the teachers back in the classes and the students back. I would have liked to have a day to sit around and think about it.
Do you think, by and large, the rank and file trust the leadership to be arguing in their best interest and the community's best interest?
I think so. Yeah, I think that they did a good job. They stood up for us, and they made a presence known nationally. It's been times in the past when I didn't agree with the union, but this one they seem to fight for what we really wanted and to stick to it a little better.
Tell me how you're feeling right now.
It's been a long week. I think we're all pretty tired. We've had our feet on the ground all over the city, but we also just received our tentative agreement, and after learning about it from our West Area chapter, we were able to come back to our members, talk about some of the key points, and vote yes or no. Feeling good about some of the gains that were made and feel like we are turning the tide in the right direction.
Mayor Garcetti said today that public education is now being discussed at almost every dining table across Los Angeles. It's wonderful for public education to get so much attention. Hopefully we can rally the support and the interest and really improve and reform our public schools so that we do become competitive with charter schools and other schools that are viable in the LA area, private schools and other choices parents have here. We really want to see the LA schools improve because we provide fair and equal education to all students regardless of special needs that they might have or special abilities that they might have also. So we're really the best option, and it's a big push for public education. Seeing all of the support all week has really bolstered those of us in the teaching profession to know that we're not alone, that people in the community value our service and stand behind us. So that was really great and wonderful, but you wonder why there wasn't that appreciation before and why we had to activate and have all these actions and rallies and things in order to get people behind us.
I'm hoping this helps Oakland go on strike, Denver go on strike, and anyone else who needs to, if they're not being listened to. Hopefully this did open it up nationally to where they're paying attention and that the teachers will get what they need. And the new governor needs to see that Oakland's a pretty big district, LA is a pretty big district. We need better funding for our schools. They spend more on prisons than they do on schools. If we had more per pupil funding in schools, maybe we wouldn't need the prison funding the way it is.
My husband and I are both educators. We were both out on strike for the last 6 days. We have 2 young children, but we knew that this was for the greater good. It was so important to us, to our city, and we really saw that Los Angeles is at a crossroads when it comes to public education. Are we going to invest in our schools and in our communities, and are we going to help the most vulnerable among us, or are we going to turn our backs and privatize and sell out?
We appreciate those excellent teachers who came early, like Mr. Perez, Ms. Wilson,
Your ballot.
the amazing ones over there, Ms. Montgomery. Thank you, all of you amazing teachers. Bubble, Nakata, you are amazing in every way you know
Deposit
it.
here, sir.
You're fantastic.
Thank you
so much.
We're all part of the same community. If some of us are suffering, then all of us are suffering. And the same for the kids. So I just thought it was important for me to be here for them because they support me in my retirement, you know. So, and this is like a family here. It's not just coming to a job and subbing. It's about being around the people you enjoy being around with, working with kids that you love and care for you, and actually kids that care for you as well and love you. When I come up here to sub, kids will ask me if I'm covering for their teacher today. I couldn't see myself crossing the line when I have colleagues out here that are trying to improve things.
Gary, you're right here. You need me to move it? Emerson has a really strong tradition of union activism. Cecily Mart Cruz, our VP, came from Emerson. Alex Caputo Pearl actually taught for a little bit here at Emerson. And we are standing in the shadows of great organizers from the '89 strike. And even in 1970, our students here at Emerson had a sit-in to support their teachers and oppose the way that the district was operating schools in their absence. This movement probably started last spring, well, earlier in the year even, because we knew that Janus was coming, the Supreme Court ruling that was going to change how unions needed to do business. Our union had the foresight to see that coming, and we had conversations with all of our members here to re-up with the union. Talked about what the union did for them, all of the gains that we got from our participation in the union. The Janus ruling, you had to basically say, yes, I want to continue to be a dues-paying member. And not only did we have almost our entire faculty re-up with the union and pay dues to the union, but a bunch more even started making larger political contributions because we really see how much public education is under attack and that the union is the only thing we have in place to fight back.
I was part of the first strike in '89, and I saw the solidarity, and that was more about pay raise. This was really more about charters coming in and just sucking our kids out. I was at Crenshaw High School, and Marshall Tuck had come to our school trying to bring a charter. And of course, the teachers didn't want it. And more importantly, the parents didn't want it. And he said, well, fine, if you won't allow me to bring a charter onto the school site, then I'll just open up charters around your school and suck all your kids away. And that's what he did. And the thing about it is with charters, they're not required to educate everyone. You know, that includes kids with physical disabilities, learning disabilities, everybody. We take kids as they are and work with them. We don't have the luxury of being able to cherry pick who we want to come to our school.
I've seen how charter schools have affected here on the west side, and I also used to work in South LA before I came here, and it's decimated the community schools there because a lot of the charter schools, the parents who are more active in their children's academics and their future tend to seek out better schools for them, and you leave people at the home school without the support that they need.
Also the fact that you're pulling money from the public school to educate other kids, and it's like you're pitting kids against each other. It shouldn't be a win-lose situation.
It's not fair, like they were saying, if they're not having to follow the same rules as us, then either let us follow the same rules as them or limit the amount of charter schools. I get it, as a parent, you want choice and you want the best outcome for your child, the best educational opportunity, but it's not a fair playing system.
How do you feel about breaking the district up into 32 districts and having them compete with each other?
I think that's a really horrible idea. It's the same concept that people used to use with teachers about competition over test scores and to reward teachers about test scores. What people don't realize is there are so many moving parts that ensure what school success, that ensure student success. There's no way a person at school can control a student's family life, can control what's going on in the media, can control what area of town they live in, or anything that might be going on in their private life. If a kid comes in and they haven't had breakfast that morning and yet they have to go and take a test, that could affect their test results. It's the same with these schools. There's no way to control the student population. That's the complete opposite objective of public education. Public education is for students to all have a fair and equal share. And when you pit them against each other, that doesn't give anybody a fair and equal share. We have so much competition already in our lives for things. Kids are competing in sports teams. Kids are competing to get into college. Don't need to be competing academically with each other. If the school is failing, then the school district maybe can step in to help them, to analyze, not to punish them.
Right.
Education is not about punishing people. It's about supporting them, giving them what they need to succeed, and then following through. Do I think this is like a huge, wonderful idea that LA Unified is so mammoth? No, I don't think it's great. I think that things really get lost and that it's really hard to keep track of everything and roll out things so that things are the same all over. But I don't think splitting it up into 32 separate little parts and then pitting those parts against each other is going to be helpful either. That's definitely our next fight, as well as ensuring that the charter movement is gone. It gets gone in LA. And I think this is just our first step. I don't know that the charter movement was ready for this kind of pushback from the public and from so many people, but they better buckle their seatbelts because this fight is on.